Karen had always prided herself on doing things the old-fashioned way. So when her daughter, Emily, asked for a haircut, she decided to take matters into her own hand. With a confident snip, Karen felt a pang of satisfaction until she saw something that made her blood run cold. The sight before her eyes left her heart pounding and her hands shaking uncontrollably. Before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Karen immediately called her ex, Dave, explaining what she found in Emily's hair. Her voice trembled as she described the strange, tiny device tangled in their daughter's strands. "Dave, you need to see this," she urged. "It's not normal." Dave, though taken aback, tried to calm her. "I'll be right over," he said, hanging up quickly. Karen's worry deepened as she stared at the strange object. Dave arrived, feeling both concerned and skeptical. "Are you sure it's not just some toy?" he asked, examining the odd object. Karen shook her head vehemently. "No, Dave, I've never seen anything like it." Sighing, Dave suggested that they discuss the matter privately to avoid alarming Emily. "Let's not jump to conclusions," he advised. Reluctantly, Karen agreed, though her mind raced with possibilities. They decided to meet at a nearby coffee shop that afternoon. Karen grabbed her jacket, her mind a whirl of anxious thoughts. "I'll be back soon," she called to Emily, trying to maintain a calm tone. Emily, engrossed in her activities, gave a casual wave. As they walked out the door, both parents exchanged worried glances, knowing this conversation was going to be anything but ordinary. Both parents were tense and anxious, unsure of what the discovery really meant. Karen fidgeted with her coffee cup, her eyes darting around the cozy, bustling cafe. Dave was quiet, deep in thought. "This can't be random, can it?" Karen finally blurted out. Dave shrugged, equally puzzled, but trying to stay rational. "Let's figure out what it is first," he replied, attempting to offer some stability. Karen couldn't shake the ominous feeling as she prepared to leave. She packed her purse, going over what she had seen again and again in her mind. Meanwhile, Emily remained oblivious to the seriousness, continuing her day as usual. The sound of her cheerful humming pierced through Karen's worried thoughts. "I'll be back soon, sweetheart," she said, giving Emily a hug. Her daughter nodded, unconcerned, keeping busy with her coloring book. At the coffee shop, Karen showed Dave what she had found. A tiny, strange device embedded in Emily's hair. Dave leaned in, his eyes widening as he examined it more closely. "Where in the world did this come from?" he asked, bewildered. Karen shook her head, utterly confused. "I have no idea. It was just there," she said. The weight of uncertainty pressed heavily on their shoulders. Dave examined it and realized it looked suspiciously like a microchip. "This seems like something more serious," he said, his voice tinged with alarm. Karen's eyes widened in horror. "A microchip? Why would someone put a microchip in her hair?" she asked, baffled. "I don't know, but we need to find out," Dave replied, resisting the urge to jump to conclusions. The mystery deepened with every passing second. Startled, Dave suggested they needed to get it analyzed by an expert. "We can't just sit around and wonder about this. We need answers," he insisted. Karen nodded, her mind racing. "Who can we trust to look at this?" she asked, feeling a bit overwhelmed by the situation. "I know someone," Dave said, already pulling out his phone. "Let's see if he's available to meet." They agreed not to tell Emily yet to avoid alarming her. "We need to handle this discreetly until we know what we're dealing with," Dave advised. Karen nodded in agreement. "The last thing we want is to scare her," she said. With a determined resolve, they both set out their plan to contact someone who could help them understand this unsettling find. The secret weighed heavily on them as they plotted their next steps. As they formulated a plan, curiosity and dread gnawed away at them. Sitting at the coffee shop, they whispered urgently, avoiding prying eyes. "We need to understand what this is," Dave emphasized, a hint of desperation in his voice. Karen nodded. "But we must be careful. I don't want to put Emily at risk." They agreed to seek out a tech specialist discreetly, feeling the weight of their new secret. They decided to visit a tech specialist discreetly. "We can't just walk into a place and ask about it," Karen said cautiously. Dave nodded, understanding the need for secrecy. "I know a guy who might help us without asking too many questions," he suggested. Karen looked relieved but still tense. "Let's go today," she replied, urgency in her eyes. They left the coffee shop, their next move clear but daunting. Karen and Dave visited a well-known tech specialist, Mr. Roberts, under the guise of needing a routine check on a curious gadget. "Thanks for seeing us on such short notice," Dave said as they entered the small, cluttered workshop. Mr. Roberts glanced at them, adjusting his glasses. "No problem at all. What do you have for me?" he asked, motioning for them to sit. Karen handed him the strange device. "Mister, Roberts examined the device thoroughly, his fingers deftly maneuvering around the tiny object. "Interesting," he muttered, taking out a magnifying glass. Karen and Dave watched anxiously, their tension palpable. After several minutes, Roberts looked up, eyes wide. "This is indeed a tracking microchip," he announced, setting the device down gently. Karen gasped, her worst fears slowly being confirmed. The revelation shocked them both, raising more questions than answers. How and why was Emily being tracked? The thought loomed, pressing on their chests. Roberts advised contacting law enforcement immediately. "You can't handle this alone. This kind of thing is serious," he cautioned, but Karen hesitated, uneasy about taking that step. Back home, they struggled with the decision. Karen feared involving the police might only create a bigger mess. Finally, Dave proposed a private investigator. "I know a guy who's really good," he said. Dave immediately called Mr. Thompson, a seasoned investigator known for discretion. Having worked with him before, Dave trusted his abilities. Thompson listened carefully to their account and agreed to come by at once. He collected the microchip, sealing it in an evidence bag. "I'll examine this closely," he said, promising daily updates. Once Thompson left, the house felt unnervingly quiet. In the following days, Karen and Dave tried to maintain normalcy for Emily, but tension permeated the air. Meanwhile, Thompson began his investigation. Using specialized equipment, he analyzed every aspect of the chip. Tracing the chip's origins, Thompson consulted experts and sifted through databases. The trail pointed to a sophisticated surveillance network. Whoever was behind this had significant resources and expertise. The closer he got, the more apparent it became this was no small-time operation. He expanded his investigation to friends, family, and even school staff, considering anyone a potential suspect. Through background checks and careful questioning, he began piecing together connections. At home, Karen fought to maintain normalcy. She cooked Emily's favorite meals and kept routine steady, but anxiety gnawed at her composure. Then Thompson uncovered a chilling lead. Someone had been investigating the family for months. "This isn't recent," he told them during a tense meeting. "Your past addresses, daily routines, everything has been compiled." The words sent chills through them both. Dave demanded details, and Thompson explained the entity had gathered extensive information about Emily too, including her schedule and acquaintances. Karen's face went pale. "How can they know so much?" she asked, her voice trembling. Thompson admitted it was the work of someone with both resources and proximity. The sense of danger tightened further around them. Emily adapted cautiously to the new safety measures, glancing around more often, her young mind struggling to grasp the hidden dangers hinted at by her parents. For Karen and Dave, the weight of this revelation was crushing. Each discovery confirmed that their child's safety was in jeopardy from a carefully orchestrated plot. They had resisted involving law enforcement, fearing exposure, but now the danger was too great. "We can't handle this on our own," Karen admitted, her voice breaking. Dave nodded. "It's gone too far. We need help." Their decision made, they contacted Detective Harris, a trusted officer. Within minutes, Harris arrived, his demeanor calm but serious. After listening to their account and examining the microchip, his expression hardened. "This is serious," he confirmed, taking notes and assessing the evidence. "We need to move fast, but stay discreet." Karen and Dave nodded, following Detective Harris's lead as he coordinated with his team. With police resources engaged, progress was swift. Harris mobilized officers to track leads and scrutinize suspects, assuring the parents, "We'll get to the bottom of this." Hope and anxiety wrestled within them as each update revealed more pieces of the mystery. Jenny's communications soon revealed plans for an imminent meeting. Cryptic texts and emails pointed to covert activity. "She's planning something soon," Dave muttered, dread tightening in his chest. Karen's face went pale. Harris acted quickly, arranging surveillance with plainclothes officers to monitor the meeting. The operation unfolded with tense precision. Officers raided the clandestine site, catching the suspects off guard. Karen and Dave waited anxiously by the phone until Harris called, "We've got them." Relief washed over them, tempered by the knowledge that this was only the beginning. Jenny and her accomplice were apprehended. Under interrogation, Jenny admitted the microchip was part of an extortion scheme orchestrated by her partner. "I didn't want to, but he forced me," she confessed. The true motive emerged, a long-held grudge. Jenny's partner blamed Dave for ruining his career years earlier, and Emily had become the leverage for his revenge. The revelation stunned them. "So it was never really about Emily," Karen whispered, realizing their daughter had been caught in the crossfire of someone else's vendetta. Dave squeezed her hand, equally shaken by the twisted connection to his past. The heartbreaking truth left Karen pale, shaken by how close they had come to losing their daughter's safety. "We could have lost her," she murmured, tears in her eyes. Dave held her tightly. "But we didn't," he reminded her, grounding them both in relief. As the pieces fell into place, anger and betrayal mingled with relief. Every odd coincidence now made sense, but the knowledge cut deep. Jenny's role, though less direct, still left them feeling deceived. "How could she do this?" Karen asked bitterly. Dave shook his head, acknowledging the painful truth. Trust had been broken. Determined never to face such vulnerability again, they overhauled their security. New systems, stricter checks on acquaintances, and even discussions about moving closer to relatives became part of their plans. "We need a fresh start," Karen declared. Every precaution taken was a shield for Emily's future. With the culprits in custody, life slowly began to stabilize. They returned to daily routines, focusing on Emily's well-being. Karen took solace in small moments, reminding herself of their fortune. "We're lucky," she whispered to Dave, appreciating the fragile peace they had regained. Eventually, Emily was told a gentler version of the truth. "We had a little scare, but everything is okay now," Karen explained softly. Emily listened, wide-eyed, then asked, "So I need to stay close to you?" Dave hugged her tightly. "Yes, sweetheart, just be careful." The partial truth was enough to make her cautious without instilling fear. For Karen, the ordeal became a turning point. She felt sharper, more vigilant, and resolved never to let danger come this close again. "We can't let our guard down," she insisted to Dave. He agreed without hesitation. "We'll do whatever it takes." In the end, the crisis forged a stronger family bond. United by resilience, they found strength in each other. "We've come through something tough," Dave remarked one evening. Karen smiled. "And we came out stronger." Emily, sensing the renewed unity, felt safe once more. Family is everything, Karen reflected, grateful for their survival and their closeness. From fear and betrayal, they had emerged more united than ever, determined to protect what mattered most,